chain lifts. Who needs them? Instead, let's start off a coaster with a bang and launch riders up to speed right from the start. That's what some coasters have been doing since the 1970s. Over the years, many different ways of launching guests have come and gone, all in varying speeds. For this episode of State of Stats, we are going to visit each state and see which launching coaster is the fastest for that state. For many of these launching coasters, the top speed of the ride may occur after the launch. For this video, I'm going to list the top speed for the coaster rather than the speed of the launch itself, only because a fair portion of these coasters only list their max speed and not the specific speed of the launch itself. Even if I went off the speed of the launch itself, literally every state would have the same coaster for the fastest launching coaster anyways. I figured doing it like this would make it easier overall. This is State of Stats, the fastest launching coaster in each state. This video will be a little bit shorter than previous episodes in this series, as a large number of states in the country have never had a launching coaster ever. Instead of a moment of silence for those states, I'll just give them a as we come across them. Now before we launch our way throughout the country, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content like this. The YouTube algorithm is still pretty mad at me for skipping a week of posting a few weeks ago. So drop a like while you're at it too. Those seem to scare him away. Some states currently have no operating launching coaster, but have had one in the past. I'll include those past coasters for the states with no operating launching coasters. I'll also mention any launching coasters from the past that were faster than the current fastest in the state where it applies. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona. Good lord, this is going to be a fast video. Arkansas. Now we can start the video. This state has no operating launching coasters today, but it has had one in the past. Roaring Tornado at Magic Springs had a top speed of 45 miles per hour. I'm not sure how fast the launch itself was. All Aero Shuttle Loop coasters only advertise their max speed at 45 miles per hour. Whether that was the launch itself or the maximum speed of the ride overall, I can't seem to find out for sure. But either way, this is still the fastest launching coaster in Arkansas's history. California. Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm has a max speed of 85 miles per hour. In this case, the max speed is likely the launch itself. Accelerator is the original accelerator coaster from Intamin, which sadly seems to be a dying breed. I really hope Knott's Berry Farm does all that they can to keep this ride around for as many years as possible. While the layout itself isn't too special, that launch is one of the best launches out there. The fastest launching coaster to exist in California was Superman Escape from Krypton, which was just recently decommissioned by the park officially. This hit a max speed of 100 miles per hour, being the very first coaster to ever do so. This was also the very first coaster to use an LSM launch. Colorado. Here we will find another Aero Shuttle Loop coaster, with Sidewinder at Elitch Gardens, having a max speed of 45 miles per hour. This coaster has been standing but not operating for a few years, but there are no other launching coasters in Colorado's history. Connecticut. Lake Compounce is undefeated in this series for this state, with Phobia Fear Coaster as the fastest and the only launching coaster in the state's history, having a max speed of 62 miles per hour. This is a common Skyrocket 2 coaster, having only 2 cars on its train and no comfort collars on the restraints. Delaware. Come on, that's too obvious. Florida. Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure has a top speed of 70 miles per hour. This speed is likely reached during the second launch. Velocicoaster is one of the most complete coasters that I've ever been on. It has immersive storytelling and theming, along with a strong and dynamic layout. While it may not be my #1 coaster overall, this really is a perfect coaster. Georgia. This state hardly made it onto this list with the opening of Georgia Gold Rusher with a max speed of 60 miles per hour. This is the first launching coaster for not only Six Flags Over Georgia, but for the entire state. Hawaii. Idaho. Illinois. Max Force at Six Flags Great America has a top speed of 78 miles per hour. As of today, Max Force is the fastest rate of acceleration for any coaster in the world. It would be cool to see more of these SNS air-powered launches pop up around the country, but these have proven to be a rather problematic model. So I don't see that happening unless SNS can work out any of the issues that they've had with this model and prove it to the industry. Indiana. The only launching coaster in Indiana's history is Thunderbird at Holiday World, with a max speed of 60 miles per hour. For the longest time, this was the only LSM launch from B&M, and the only launched wing coaster from B&M, both of which are no longer the case, with many newer B&Ms having LSMs, and with Rapterra at Kings Dominion opening this year. While the launch on Thunderbird may not be as fast as Rapterra's, I prefer Thunderbird's launch, since it isn't a rolling launch. Yeah, I know the rolling launch on Rapterra is a tribute to Volcano, that's cool and all, but in the end, that does take away from the launch a little bit. And I love all the near misses on Thunderbird. Iowa. Kansas. Kentucky. There are no operating and launching coasters in Kentucky currently. The state has only ever had one in its history, with Greased Lightning at Kentucky Kingdom, having a max speed of 57 miles per hour. This was a Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop coaster. Pretty much as simple as it gets for a launching coaster. Louisiana. Maine. Maryland. Joker's Jinx at Six Flags America has a max speed of 60 miles per hour. This Premier Rides LAM coaster is the only operating and launching coaster in the state, and is also the second fastest coaster in the state. It's a spaghetti bowl coaster. They're pretty much all the same. Massachusetts. As of this video, there are no operating and launching coasters in the state. They have had one in the past, and they have one opening later this year. Funny enough, both of these coasters have the same max speed of 45 miles per hour. The one from the past was Black Widow at Six Flags New England. This was an Aero Shuttle Loop coaster. Six Flags New England has Quantum Accelerator opening sometime this year, sharing the same max speed as Black Widow. So take your pick for this state, either their past coaster or the one they have opening later this year. Michigan. Minnesota. Steel Venom at Valley Fair has a max speed of 70 miles per hour. This is the only launching coaster to ever open in the state. It's a typical intimate impulse coaster. Gimmicky, but still fun and a punchy launch. Mississippi. Missouri. Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast coaster at Six Flags St. Louis has a max speed of 70 miles per hour. I'm not sure if the max speed on this coaster is reached on the first launch or after the vertical downwards launch. Maybe it's both. I could see either launch hitting that speed. This is one of only 2 launching coasters to ever open in Missouri, the other being Powder Keg at Silver Dollar City. Montana. Nebraska. Nevada. There are no operating and launching coasters in Nevada. They've only ever had one in their history, with Speed the Ride at 70 miles per hour. This was a Premier Ride Shuttle LIM coaster, and currently sits in a parking lot by the Vegas Strip. Will this ever be rebuilt? I doubt it. New Hampshire. New Jersey. King the Ka. Well, never mind. Gale Force at Playland Castaway Cove reaches 64 miles per hour. Not saying King the Ka for this state just feels wrong. Obviously, King the Ka was the fastest launch coaster in the state's history, but, well, you know. Gale Force looks to be one of the most bizarre coasters out there. I haven't had a chance to ride it, despite only living about 3 hours from the park. One of these days, I'll venture to the Jersey coast and hit up all the pier parks. Now that Great Adventure is practically browning its pants, perhaps I'll be more inclined to bypass Great Adventure and hit up the piers. New Mexico. New York. 2 coasters would take the title for New York, both being clones of each other. Motor Coaster at Six Flags Darien Lake and Steeplechase at Luna Park, having a max speed of 37.3 miles per hour. These are both Zamperla motor coaster models, using a flywheel launch. While these coasters aren't anything crazy, they're cute and fun for what they are. North Carolina. There are no operating and launching coasters in North Carolina today. Hey, we'll get there, don't worry. Just wait a few states. The only launching coaster to ever exist in North Carolina was White Lightning at Carowinds, which hit a speed of 57 miles per hour. This was a Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop coaster. While there is an operating and launching coaster at the same park today, it's technically not in North Carolina, so we'll come back to that. North Dakota. Ohio. As of this video, Top Thrill 2 is still not operational. Sure, it may be testing and cycling, but my faith in the ride staying open for any length of time is still pretty low. I really hope I'm wrong about this, but time will tell. So as of now, the fastest operating and launching coaster in Ohio is Maverick at 70 miles per hour, reaching that top speed at the second launch. The original Top Thrill Dragster and Wicked Twister reached speeds faster than Maverick, but those 2 coasters are no longer with us. If Top Thrill 2 can stay open, it can claim this title for the state, and for the entire country as well. Again, I hope my doubts about this coaster are wrong. Oklahoma. Here we will find another Aero Shuttle Loop coaster with Diamondback at Frontier City, being the only launching coaster to ever open in Oklahoma. This is also the only operating Aero Shuttle Loop coaster left in the country. Oregon. Pennsylvania. Storm Runner at Hershey Park reaches a max speed of 75 miles per hour. The launch is advertised at 72 miles per hour. The fastest part of this ride is likely at the bottom of the valley after the top hat. Either way, it's still the fastest launch in the state. While the accelerator model is a dying breed, I can see this being one of the last remaining ones left in the future. I know Hershey Park will keep this ride as it is for as long as humanly possible. They know they got something special with this coaster. Rhode Island. South Carolina. Okay, Copperhead Strike. Now you get your moment to shine. With a max speed of 50 miles per hour. I'm considering Copperhead Strike for South Carolina as the entirety of the coaster is within the state. It may be labeled and addressed as a North Carolina coaster, but this makes more sense to me. The max speed is likely reached during the second launch. The first launch just may be one of the slowest launches in the country. Okay, maybe that's a little dramatic, but you get the point. South Dakota. Tennessee. Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood has a max speed of 48 miles per hour, likely reached during the second launch. While Lightning Rod had a max speed of 70 miles per hour while it did have its launch, the launch was nowhere near that speed. If you want to consider that as the fastest launching coaster in the state's history, then go for it. Big Bear Mountain may be one of the best family coasters in the country today, having a long and super fun layout that anyone of any age can enjoy, with a little theming here and there. But this is Hershend, so therefore, no trees allowed. Texas. Mr. Freeze at Six Flags Over Texas has a max speed of 70 miles per hour. This is the same coaster as the one at Six Flags St. Louis. The only difference with this one is that one train starts forward and the other starts backwards, so you can choose which way you want to start the ride. Utah. Wicked at Lagoon has a max speed of 55 miles per hour. The launch on Wicked is perhaps one of the most unique launches out there, being a vertical top hat launch. I wouldn't say that the coaster reaches 55 miles per hour on the launch, more than likely after the top hat, but there are no other operating and launching coasters in the state, nor any in its history, so there's no competition for this state. Vermont. Virginia. The fastest launching coaster in the state's history was Hypersonic XLC, hitting 80 miles per hour on its launch. The fastest launching coaster in Virginia today is Pantheon of Busch Gardens Williamsburg, with a max speed of 73 miles per hour. The fastest launch on Pantheon only reaches 67 miles per hour. The max speed of 73 miles per hour is reached at the bottom of the valley after the top hat. But still, with the fastest launch at 67 miles per hour, it's still the fastest operating launch in the state. Rapterra falls just a little short at 65 miles per hour. Washington. West Virginia. This state has had only one launching coaster in its history, and surprise, it was another Aero Shuttle Loop coaster. This operated at Camden Park from 1988 to 1999. And now this video is practically over because Wisconsin, Wyoming. And there you have it, that's the fastest launching coaster in each state. Did anything here surprise you? I was surprised to find out how many states have never had a launching coaster ever, and how many states no longer have one. I could see this changing drastically over the next decade or so, as launching coasters seem to be more favorable these days. What stats do you want to see next in this series? I still need to do the fastest coaster in general for each state, but it may not be all too different from this video. It would only include those states that did not make it into this video, with a few changes with the ones that did make it. Let me know in the comments if you still want to see that stat or not. Alright guys, I've wrapped the video up here. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next loop.